from Brixworth Community Church. Today's story is about a young girl who was doing her first job. She came from a very small village in Wales and travelled to a large grand house in London. She worked in her first job as a maid there and got on really, worked quite well. Now the family were pleased with their new employee, but want to encourage her to join them each Sunday for church. So they suggested that she come to church with them, and they could go in their horse and trap and transport with no problem. But the girl said no. She made other arrangements. She had contacts in London, and she'd heard that there was a Welsh church about 2 miles away. So every morning she got up bright and early and walked the 2 miles there and the 2 miles back from this Welsh speaking church that was in London, the only one in London that was Welsh speaking. Now her family were pleased that she was going to church, but said, well, rather than walk 2 miles there and 2 miles back every Sunday, why don't you come to us? Your English is so good, you'll understand the service, and God speaks to people in all sorts of languages. You'll be really happy, and you won't have to walk so far. The little girl didn't reply for several weeks and carried on going to her Welsh-speaking church the other side of London. So the weather started to deteriorate, and the family said, well, come on, it's going to get really bitter. You've got a 2 mile walk there and back, and we can't take you because we're off to our church and with our horse and trap. But she insisted on going to her Welsh-speaking church. The weather got worse in the winter, and for the third time the family said, now come on, this Sunday, why don't you join us to come with us, just try it out. Our church, it's not too far, and we'll take you in the trap, and it will save you this journey in the bitter weather. And the little girl said, I'd love to, but God speaks to me in Welsh. Reminded me of how God speaks to people. God speaks to people in different ways and in different situations, and perhaps in different languages. God speaks to some people in their garden, some people in dreams, to some in their reaction when they're praying. Sometimes it will be just out walking in the countryside. God will speak to you and I in different ways in different times. But the important thing is to remember, as this little girl did from Wales, wherever and whenever God speaks to you, be there. Be like Samuel and say, God's speaking to me. And listen to those valuable messages. Because God will speak to you if you regularly speak to Him.
Speak, O Lord, till your church is built and the earth is filled with your glory.